Hey guys, it's Krystle Starr with Fan Guru bringing you last week's Geek News. A blast from the past hit the internet. Are we really lucky enough to get another Toy Story? Yes, we are. And let's take a closer look into the two teaser trailers. We see the beloved gang and some new faces. So let's talk about Forky. In the trailer, we hear him say, "I don't belong here." But why doesn't he belong there? And why is he alive? And why is his name Forky and not Sporky? So many questions with so little information. Now, diving deeper into the story, I came across an article with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, both talking about how the ending to Toy Story 4 was one of the most emotional things they had ever done. Tom Hanks had to record with his back to everyone in the room. What does that mean? What about Woody? What about Buzz? Along with the two trailers, we also got 4 movie posters. Now these posters have incredible lighting, and because the franchise is so iconic, they didn't even bother putting the name, just the release date. Now one is of Woody by himself, almost sad. He's like walking away, tipping his hat to us. And the other one is of Forky, which is super dope if you ask me, because if you look a little bit closer on the spoon and fork, you see that it's from Pizza Planet. Are we going back to Pizza Planet in Toy Story 4? I hope so. The claw! Best scene. Now, Toy Story 4 might be the darkest and most emotional from the franchise. So tell us what you think about Forky in the comments below. The Black Friday Nintendo sale has been announced for the Switch bundle pack that includes the hit Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, this is going to be selling for just $300. So you're basically going to be getting the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for free, which has a $60 value. So if you're a fan of Mario Kart, this is fantastic news. Next, Nintendo dropped its Detective Pikachu trailer that sparked an internet frenzy. People and Pokemon together. What? My first viewing of this had me beyond hooked, okay? When I saw little Pikachu's face pop out from behind the desk, I lost it. He is so fluffy, just like my 1990s plushies. Then I heard Ryan Reynolds' voice. I was expecting the voice of Pikachu from the detective video game that was released in like 2016, but much more exciting with this like Deadpool Pikachu vibes going on. I am waiting for all the sarcasm from this little yellow guy, okay? Now in the game, Tim Goodman is on a mission to find his lost father, and he's the only one who can understand Pikachu. Now from the trailers, from what I've seen, it seems to follow the same storyline, and Pikachu is wearing the same signature little detective hat. It's just too cute. Let's go in and talk about all the Pokemon that I spotted in the trailer. So we saw a lot of Pidgeys flying around the city. There was a super sad missing poster with Squirtle, and there was a ton of like marching Bulbasaurs. There was a Charmander, and then the Charizard looks super badass, like a Game of Thrones dragon with all these like 6 scales, and then Mr. Mime and all his creepy little faces. And then the weirdest one to me was Psyduck. I don't know why he looked like that. It was too much. But my personal favorite, other than Pikachu, was Jigglypuff, or should I say Grumpy Puff. Now the cameos of these Pokemon had the internet in a frenzy. People were re-watching this clip over and over and over again. So did you find the little pocket monsters creepy or cool? Let us know. More Pokemon news. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for the Nintendo Switch was released last week. Now, is it worth it? All right, let's talk about some of the outfits. You can change the outfits of Pikachu and Eevee with little bow ties and cute little hats. And the trainers that you come across have some pretty powerful moves. I love how you can ride some of the Pokemon around in the game, and this new game is also one of the best battle scenes I've seen to date. Now the music has this classic like red, blue, and yellow with its own unique style and twist to it. The game itself was super awesome in the beginning, but once I started hitting some of those higher levels, I felt like the game got a little repetitive just because I had to catch so many Pokemon to keep up with my levels. But as a casual player, it's super enjoyable and great for younger audiences. All right, Vault Dwellers, it is finally here. The hype for Bethesda's Fallout 76 was real. The trailers for this game were sick, but will the franchise live up to this insane hype? The biggest difference between Fallout 4 and 76 is that 76 is a multiplayer game. Now, in many ways, this is super exciting, But when I played the single player in Fallout 4, I felt like my actions had a bigger impact on the game's overall outcome. And with 76, I was reading a story that had already happened in the past, which is still very exciting. It was just really different for me. The map itself is way bigger than Fallout 4, like almost too big. Now, I think my biggest issue was trying to hear the dang holotapes when my teammates were talking. And the audio logs did an okay job of storytelling, but I did find myself missing a lot of the NPCs from the old game. Overall, the game was beautiful, and exploring West Virginia was a ton of fun. Just remember, there's no pause in a multiplayer game, so if you get killed while you're in your Pip-Boy, you die. And I learned that the hard way. Earlier this week, a true American hero, Stan Lee, passed away at the age of 95. After his passing, my feed was full of friends posting stories with them and the legend. Stan Lee's involvement with Marvel Comics really led the way for diversity, equality, and social politics with Team Stark or Team Captain America. He always tried to make his readers think about the world around them. For me, picking up my classic 1980s Marvel comic books always felt like hanging out with an old friend. And as a teacher, Marvel Comics helped me teach my students so much. Thanks to Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, we got the X-Men. And thanks to X-Men, I got to teach some of the coolest lessons to my students with spectacular needs about how their differences make them who they are, and often their differences are their superpowers.
Club, what is our motto?
The comic club we created was a hit. We actually organized a meet and greet with Stan Lee himself, and he gave each of my students the time they needed and told us about Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He then signed a ton of things for my students and my Captain America motorcycle, which he decided to sit on while signing. His bodyguards got very upset because they didn't want Stan to get hurt, but he had the biggest smile on his face, like he knew he was getting away with something sneaky. He told them all to calm down as he smiled and posed for a photo with me. Here's a short clip of my motion capture days with Modus Studios and Mr. Stan Lee getting a little upset that he was being interviewed by Larry the Zombie and not a pretty girl.
I mean, you've been writing for years and years. I've been reading all of your stuff. What's a good story to you, Mr. Lee?
Well, I guess a good story is one in which you care about the characters and you're concerned about whatever trouble they're in, and you want to find out how do they get out of it? How will everything be all right? But what I want to know is, why am I looking at you and talking to you when I got this pretty girl over here? I thought I was going to be talking to her.
I mean, I don't know. Typically, I've actually been looking at her the whole time. But, hey, isn't she gorgeous? Krystle
Not that
Starr,
you're not
everybody.
great looking. I don't want you to misunderstand me.
I don't think I've ever smiled that big in my life. Those gums were lit. Stan Lee also worked with the Fan Guru team last year for LA Comic-Con. Back then, we were called Cosmunity. And Stan Lee gave us the Excelsior approved stamp by supporting the app and encouraging true believers to create groups and secret meetups within the app.
You can also create meetups for secret get-togethers, just like superheroes.
Out of all of his creations, his best creation was Stan. The man himself was filled with high energy and a larger-than-life persona and kindness to everyone. Stan Lee's characters were believable, and he really understood the youth of America. Stan inspired us to be the light. So let's keep that light shining through us by spreading kindness wherever we can. This week, I challenge and encourage each of you to offer your full attention to someone this week. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Tasks, to-do lists, Netflix, social media can easily distract us from giving the person our full attention. This week, try being completely present with someone and notice what happens. We would love to hear your stories about spreading kindness with them through the app or our website. Go ahead and tag me personally in them to put a huge smile on my face. With great power comes great responsibility.